And moving from the external to the internal, let's talk about pressure. Pressure is, I've got to do more than this. Never good enough. And what's interesting is pressure is often credited for people's success. People think that pressure helps. Everyone I've talked to puts a lot of pressure on themselves, argues that it's a motivational sense for them, that it does something to inspire them or move them, that they often say that if I didn't put pressure on myself, I'd just sit on the couch all day, blah, blah, blah. Never tested it, of course. But it's like you've got somebody walking beside you giving you shit your whole life. And so whenever you succeed, you figure, oh, it must be because of them, because they're always there. But correlation does not equal causation. Like I said before, just because you got cancer doesn't mean you give it credit for anything you achieve while you've got cancer. That should be obvious, right? It's a tumor, it's actually in the way. You'd probably achieve more without it. You've got a sense of that when you're sick, don't you? You don't give it credit to your sickness. Well, what if pressure is sickness? What if you could do even better without it? Have you ever considered that? Even if you're a high performer, and I think this is why high performers really struggle with the idea that pressure is not helpful, is they're usually outperforming everyone around them. It's like, yeah, but that's still not the top of your potential. But you always ask more from yourself. You always feel like you failed, feel like it wasn't good enough. You always say, yeah, but whenever you get a compliment or whenever you win. Giving credit to pressure is like assuming you perform better when you've got a brain tumor. Kids. You ever watch kids, how they're self-motivated without pressure? I mean, you got to get them pretty young because most parents start putting pressure on them quite early, but you get in young enough and you'll see that the kid keeps busy all day long with lots of fun stuff to do, never getting bored, never stressing out, never lying around doing nothing, and yet no pressure. Why do you need pressure? If kids don't need it, why do adults need it? You think you lost that, do you? Do you think that like motivation that naturally comes, the exuberance of being a kid, that wore off and now you got to pressure yourself to do stuff? Or which came first? Losing that vibe or the pressure? I'd suggest the pressure came first. Remember school? You have any memory of when the pressure first started? Maybe it started earlier for you. Maybe your parents put pressure on you. Were you getting dragged to like all these after school activities? Were you being forced to do piano lessons? Were you being told to clean up all the time and so on? Like, do you feel like you're forced to do stuff? Is that maybe why you lost motivation? And now being forced is the only way you get things done? What is pressure? It's resistance, isn't it? To push on something is to resist. So why would we think pressure helps us move? I mean, you put pressure on an electric system, like the amps go down, I think, right? Like you put pressure on any system, the performance drops. It doesn't increase. Right? If water's flowing and I build a dam, less water flows. The water goes still and just squeezes out this little hole in this like sort of high pressure stream that just does damage. I should just leave the river the fuck alone. It will flow just nicely, won't it? It'll keep flowing to the end of fucking time if I leave it alone. Now, I'm not going to bother citing my sources here, but ChatGPT or Google will help you find them. But studies generally show that people who are relaxed, having fun, are better problem solvers, more productive, higher performing. But I've tested this on myself. I get way more done when I don't try to get things done. It makes no sense in my brain until I do it. And I realize that I've been conned. I've been conditioned into believing that pressure is helpful, and yet it so obviously is not. Like, there's no way you'd choose a brain tumor over not having a brain tumor, right? Well, why would you choose pressure over free flowing if you want high performance? It doesn't make sense. So pressure is a liar. All it does is stress us out. It undermines our successes, it emphasizes our failures. It asks us to do more than is necessary. It asks us to control things that we can't or shouldn't control. And none of this is being kind to yourself. Now, Dr. Robert Glover says the opposite of crazy is still crazy. And this is a really helpful thing to keep in mind when you're getting into self-development, that the extreme other end of the spectrum that you're on is probably just as harmful as the one that you're in. People think the opposite to stress and pressure is often just giving up completely. Whenever I'm arguing or debating with a high performer about taking it easier on themselves, they're always like, what, should I just give up completely? They just do this big extreme, like opposite end of the spectrum. But if I don't put pressure on myself, I'm just gonna sit around smoking drugs and get nothing done and fucking die, blah. It's like, no, that's just as crazy, obviously. crashing on the couch and binge watching Netflix is not good for you. No, that's not a healthy response to pressure and stress. You're right. But that's a false dichotomy that those are the only two options, high pressure or low performance. It's not being kind to yourself to crash and burn and engage in coping mechanisms. If anything, that's just a cop out. One thing you got to keep in mind, there's always a healthy option, always, or a healthier option, or the healthiest option available. There's always that. So if you're not taking that, then you're stuck in the false dichotomy. And somebody's like, I can't stick with my diet, so fuck it, I'll just have like ice cream and pizza. So is there maybe a third thing you could eat, right? So I've been working too hard, I'm quitting this job. You couldn't just like reduce your hours, maybe, sustainably? Like the opposite of pressure is still harmful. One way to look at it is fight and flight response. High pressure is a fight response, zero effort is a flight response, running away. But both of them are just fear responses. Both of them are just knee-jerk reactions to like panic and fear and stress. What about sustainable middle ground? What about getting off the fucking roller coaster and cruising? No highs, no lows, just sustainable, constant growth. What if that's an available option? Why are you not looking for that option? Why are you stuck in that false dichotomy of just high and low? Because it's not even middle. It's not staying on that spectrum at all of pressure to giving up. It's getting off that spectrum, off that fucking roller coaster, and getting in a car and driving down the freeway instead. It's not even, you're not even on the ride. You're thinking completely differently. You got to think about getting off the pressure to give up stress spectrum and start thinking about kindness, which is different. It's really fucking different. It's a complete paradigm shift. For people like us, it's like alien. We can't understand it in our current mental framework because it doesn't fit in. Like I said, if I talk to a high performer, they just think I'm talking about giving up completely because that's the closest they can come to interpreting what kindness means or self-love might mean. Or they think it's, oh, I've got to pressure myself to do very healthy things. I've got to make myself get lots of sleep and make myself exercise and make myself talk to that girl. So no, you're just processing it through the old model. You're not actually interpreting what it means correctly. Some of you have never experienced self-kindness, or it's been so long that you've forgotten. Last time was when you were a toddler, maybe. And since then, you've just been hard on yourself. You don't have a frame of reference, and I understand that. And that's kind of what it was for me. I felt like I was learning a new language that didn't even follow the same basic grammatical structure as the old language. Like I had nothing to reference, just starting with like this blank slate. But that's what I'm saying is you can't reference the old way. This is not about pressure. It's not about giving up. It's this third thing that you've probably never done before that won't make sense to you at first. So in kindness, there is performance, but without pressure. There's rest and recovery, but without crashing or inactivity. That you can go from like moving to slowing down, run with the cart at the pace that it's going, never stop going with the cart, but never ask more from yourself than what you can do as you are tied to this cart. So you got to let go of the idea of just tuning the dials you've already been using and just take on a completely different approach. Like I said, it's the same approach, if you have that double standard, that you would apply to someone who's not you, who you care about, right? What we're talking about is turning off that double standard. Thank you for showing an interest in the Nice Guy Brotherhood, a group coaching community program for nice guys and people pleasers who want to become more confident and assertive to do better in their relationships and their careers. This is also for any man who wants to become more masculine, more bold, more honest, and more authentic. So in this program, we focus in on a lot of the people pleaser and approval seeking tendencies that hold men back from achieving full self-confidence and healthy relationships. Things like avoiding conflict, trying to fix other people's emotions, molding yourself to other people's preferences, failing to stand up for yourself, not going for what you really want, and not knowing who you really are. The goal, through the support of myself and the other members of the community, is to help you build the backbone to stand up for yourself, to stop caring what other people think of you, to stop getting lost in your thoughts and your feelings, and learn how to act decisively based on your own set of core values rather than what everybody else wants you to do. So we're looking to replace things like conflict avoidance and procrastination and trying to please others with going for what you really want based on who you really are. So we address all these issues through a number of methods. Firstly, we get together each week for a group session. Now, part of that is what's called hot seat coaching, which is somebody gets on the mic with me and we do a coaching session in front of the others, and everybody gives their feedback and support, and we can deal with specific issues that's coming up for that person in their life in relation to building confidence and overcoming nice guy syndrome. We also have group discussions during these calls. We share links and resources, feedback, questions, and everything we can do to support each other's growth. And then also alongside these group calls, you get access to my full online library of self-development courses, which includes things like building rapport, setting boundaries, and learning to confront your fears. Now, if you're interested in the group, we have a deal where you get your first month for just $1 so that you can try it before you buy it and get a sense if it's really right for you and if these are the people that are going to help you achieve your goals. Once your first month is up, if you want to continue, then we have a monthly membership subscription. It's $250 US per month for full access to everything. This includes the entire archive of recordings from all the calls that we've had so far. And if you come along with a friend, both of you will get a 50% discount for joining together. There's what we call a zero risk guarantee. If at any time you're unsatisfied with the program, you can quit and you'll get your money from the last month given back to you, no questions asked. So come and check it out. If nothing else, for $1, you get access to everything for an entire month. No risk. I'll even return that dollar if you're not satisfied, because that's how confident I am that this program is going to change your life.